Hello, I am on top of a tree. It's that video again. It's the commenter question of the day video of the week, of the episode week. It's been 2 weeks since the last one. So it's the comment of the video. Yeah, leave a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a bunch of questions in here today and a beautiful view of the world. I stand on top of this tree far more often than I care to admit, just looking at everything we've been able to build, and I love it, especially with this new addition over here. That like stands out so much more than I really thought it would, in a very good way, and I'm very happy I took the time to actually do this project. But anyways, first question today, going all the way to page 51, coming in from Doverin, a great name for this city. Also, in one of the wide shots at the end of the video, something jumped out to me. Obviously there'll be another building next to the stable, but it seems like there'll still be a sizable gap where the terrain steeply rises. Could be a perfect spot to add a road leading directly up to the tree. There might even be room for some kind of place of pilgrimage since the tree is so revered. Just a few rockets to get to the far side of the tree. We'll be there in a second. I believe they are talking about this space right down here because that is the stable. My plan is to build a giant theater here and then another storage building for all of our colored materials here. I think in like a glass blowing workshop of sorts. I'm not too sure yet. But now if we go to my other standing point all the way out here, this portion of the city, I want to turn into a neighborhood kind of climbing up the side of the hill to link all the way back. Okay, this standing point might be better. No, not better, actually. Aha, nailed it. But I'd like to connect that into our back quarry gate with a road coming up through here, as I do need to connect into that point. So we'll have one in there and then linking up into here, but I want to turn this into a large community neighborhood of sorts. Like we have the upper, we have industrial down here, and then we want this to be another themed area. Over there is going to be the Dwarven District, which I'm very excited for, like kind of on the hill, and then a big school inside of a palace of sorts, like up on the edge of the mountain, kind of all the way up there to really theme off the skyline going that way, which I'm also very excited for. But I really like the idea of having a road or pathway leading up to the top somehow, as I would like to have a way to access the base of the tree, and I think that could be pretty great. My original idea, to be honest, for this place in this large flat wall here was to create some sort of a place of worship, and have it kind of like building way high up into here, but I've kind of moved away from the ideas. I think the scale is just too much, but I do think some small tiny side pathways and alleyways that we have like throughout the rest of the city leading up to the base of the tree could be pretty cool, and a fun way to kind of incorporate it into the idea of the pilgrimage isn't like this big fancy thing where everybody's doing it, so we don't have like this giant road leading all the way up there. But for the people who in the lore of this world are like really devout followers and worshipers of the tree, they have their own kind of little private access points and slight ways that they can get all the way up to the top. Seems, I don't know, I think that seems more in line with how I like the tree being revered in this world. Not really a big flashy thing, even though it's a giant flashy thing, but like it's just kind of subtly there. Really subtle, isn't it? I think it's a pretty subtle build. Next one coming in from Skyans. I just love the little glimpses we get of the older builds as you move around the world gathering supplies. I know you've had some pushback from parts of the community who feel that a central storage system is necessary and efficient, but I think your method is a great way of keeping the world alive. Thanks for another great video. That was me, not them. Full of amazing builds and color palettes. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next time you need the glow lichen farm. This world is nearly 6,000 days old at this point, so there's a lot of stuff in it. And I'm really trying to focus on linking all of that together to show more bits of me moving around the world to better show how everything all connects together, because it's kind of hard to show that in a video where we are doing just so many different things. And a lot of times I do just have to jump from point A to point B. But you might have noticed in the recent one where we just finished detailing the town. Ooh, I love this view in the sunsets. But I purposely incorporated some cinematic shots instead of the clips of me like gathering all the materials. I was like, here, I took a trip over to the lumber mill. Hey, I took a trip down into the quarry, and all of those cool things that we were doing. As I think those little cinematic clips of me just like walking or flying around the world helps to put into perspective of where things are laid out, so you as a viewer can kind of have a mental like blah blah blah. That was not English. But you as a viewer can kind of have a mental map of where everything is located in the world. Like as much as I can do clips like this, or I'm just like going all the way around it, like me actually taking the time to fly throughout there and walk over to the point to show like, hey, there is a road leading through here. Even though you can't see it inside the forest, there is a road. But that also is a reason why I am trying to put the little farms in different places and all that. As places where I don't typically visit, I want to kind of create a reason to need to visit them. As we just finished up this town and everything inside of here, there's not really a reason to come down and walk through it unless I need to come over here and grab a cat, because we have all the different types of cats sitting here, which is kind of why I've just left them here, to be honest, so I can come down and get one. But also it's a very common place for me to just have this view of the tree because I love how it looks in this valley. So we do see this often, but there's not really a reason to actually come in to walk through and explore it. Which is okay, because I kind of built this as a bit of like a backdrop element of here, as much as it was my first giant project in the world. I kind of knew it was going to eventually be a bit more of a backdrop of something that we fly over and just be like, wow, that town down there looks pretty cool. So if you have any ideas on how I can kind of show the world more often without really fully interrupting the flow of the videos, let me know down in the comments. I know that's kind of a big question, but I'm open to hear your feedback on it. Comment 3 coming in from Dran Morphia brings back memories of your original city back in your old survival. Back in your old survival world. Your building has improved so much that was the project that taught me how to build before I learned my own style. This, to be honest, is the city that I always wanted to build and was trying to build back in the day when I was working in the original building with fWhip City, Port Latour? I think it's like something by the sea. I can't remember where I got the name from, but I think it was that. I think it's a French word. But back then, I didn't have the skills to do what I'm doing now. We'll take a look back at that world in just a moment here, but like all the detail and shape and color especially that I'm able to throw into this world now, I absolutely love. And I needed to have that first city project where I built building with fWhip, as it helped me grow as a builder and YouTuber, and it was able to get me into the point that I'm at today. If I didn't build that city, I don't think I would be here building this city here today, because that made me really fall in love with the progress and being able to actually tackle those large, massive projects over a very, very long period of time, and showed me that for me personally, it's super worth it to invest that time, even if it doesn't give the greatest return as a video. I know there's a lot of satisfaction for myself seeing it completed and knowing that I did it all myself and really, really tried hard in building a lot of things. And sometimes for me, that is perfect enough. Moving over to the other world, as we're in creative here, no longer in the actual hardcore world, I am very proud of the city. It's not really the style that I do anymore, as I've grown a lot from it, as I just mentioned, but I still have a lot of love in my heart for what I was able to make here, and I'm really, really happy with the result we got out of this one. Over in this portion of the original city, I started to experiment a lot more with colors and texturing and kind of working in those things, but you can still see how much more basic this is compared to what I did over in the new world and the city of Path and all that. Like, this is very, very basic compared to what we have there. A lot of the stone bricks, but also Deep Slate didn't exist at this point in time. So I think a lot of the new additions Minecraft has added for us has also really allowed me to excel and filled in the gaps that we didn't really have before when building. Like, the only white block I really had back in the day was diorite. Like, I just kind of had to make diorite work. I didn't have any of the other ones to be able to blend it better into what we can do today and all of that work in there. So this is kind of what, for me at the time and what I had available to me, like that I thought was a really, really cool lighthouse. I actually really like this one still. And I think this actually has a full interior, a little sidetrack down in here. Yeah, look at this. It's got a little nice little place down there. Oh, I need to start doing that more. Look at that. All these interiors. Wow. Wait, I did a whole little interior up here. What the heck? What happened to me? I don't even do these anymore. Where did the interior building fWhip go? Wait, that does stay open. That's the one that closes. Yeah, okay, That was like when campfires were very first added to the game, I think. The campfire and the bell. I think this is the first build I ever made with them. But also the reason why that interior is done is, hey, look, this is the this is the original version of the crane that I just built in the hardcore world. Yeah. Kind of love that. But anyways, this thing over here, there's a lot of growing involved with placing that, and the whole video I think was just that. Maybe I also did like the dock shape itself when I built that, so there's a lot more time that I allocated to doing that, where I probably don't have that much time to commit to my current videos. Also, diagonal boat over here, I gotta try that again. I think I could do a much better job at it, but I also think this is one of the best boats I ever built in this world. because it was on an angle, so it kind of is supposed to be a little wonky. If we come over here to the main gate of the old city and walk through here, and you can kind of see the glimpse of all of these buildings coming in here together with all that. And I think it's that a lot of them are shorter. And if we compare those 511 buildings to the 6'1" and 6' buildings here that we have in the new hardcore world, you can see just the much more grand feel that we have as we walk into the city. And I really like this. It's just a fully different feel when you're walking in here, because I've been able to scale up my builds to have that larger presence, whereas it feels like the old city was a lot of like town buildings that added up to be a city, where these are like full city buildings for the scale that they are. I also think I've gotten a lot better on where I place and how I place buildings in what I'm doing. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling this. Yes, lots of growth happens over a lot of time, and it's really cool. As soon as you can figure out one thing that you like diving into that, you'll learn how to do a lot more things and grow a bunch off of it. Final question today coming in from Shmuel. Hey fWhip, love the city, love the creation of the city, but will you make a video of the lore of the city or even the world? I also love the builds that you make and the colors that you use, but how do you choose the colors for the buildings? A little bit off of the last comment on here for the second part, we'll start with that, how to pick the colors of the building. Find something that works and then just keep experimenting with it. And learning color theory is something that I've been trying to do a lot recently, of how different colors work together and they blend together. Treating Minecraft building like an art form in the way of how artists think of how to incorporate color into their drawing, their paintings, their photography, and everything like that is a surefire way to improve your Minecraft building, as this is very much an art form. So I would say that. And biggest thing is just keep experimenting. Like this one here, I've done this color palette a few times before, and I had something completely different on the original time when I did the building, and I was like, what if I just throw in crimson? I never use crimson, so what if I just try it? And I threw it in, and I was like, shocked Pikachu face. I love this. So I would say just keep trying and experimenting and throwing different things together, and if all else fails, just add some spruce to blend it together. You'll be fine. Now the much boring question, the lore... No, that's pork chop, not a rocket. The lore of the world. Why don't I write anything down? Well, the big reason is that I want you all to create what you think the lore of this world is. I want to be the person who's kind of setting the stage and giving the shape of the world, giving the buildings and the civilization in the world, and maybe a few little tidbits here and there of how this world comes together. But from that point, I want the community to write down the rest of the lore and how it all functions, whether it's true or not, as I do have a little bit of like an insight into where I want the lore to go and how I want things to further connect inside the world sitting in the back of my brain. And it's something that I don't want to share because it might change, and I don't want to share it and have it all be super locked in here together. But I also don't want to go super intense into the lore, as I find that it becomes a little bit more difficult for people to jump into the videos if they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is the story going on in here? It's something that I really learned through the course of doing some SMP series where I did incorporate some lore. Yeah, so I go a little bit lighter on lore. I don't really add too much of it, but I love when the community creates their own story of what they think this world means and how it all connects together. And I can kind of just keep adding pieces to the puzzle. But it's up to all of you to put the puzzle pieces together and figure out what that actually means. So maybe I would do like a cinematic tour and do a little storytelling or something like that as like a second channel video if I had some time. But putting that together would probably be like 2 full days of work, if not more. So it's kind of hard to allocate that for a second channel video, as I know it wouldn't perform that well on the main channel. Said that is something that, again, I want the community to kind of be guiding forwards and leading on. So if it's something you're interested, feel free to write some stories. For all of the members over on the main channel, we actually do have a Discord channel set up to where you can share stories and lore that you think you would fit well with this world, and stories can be told from different things happening in here. Right now, it's only available to members because we've tried stuff like this in the past and it just got spammed with a lot of really weird stuff that we don't want to have. And so it's a little bit smaller community, tighter knit, and people who are a lot more invested in the world instead of just random everybody. So I know it's a little gatekeepy from everybody, but Spinning Horse and me here just want to keep this a safe place and easier to sift through. So it's something that oh, he stopped spinning. Okay, yeah, he wants to be able to read through it without reading any weird things, and same with me. So if there's a lot of weird posts in any of the Discord channels, I tend to be like, yeah, maybe I only look at this if I need to moderate things instead of actually reading them thoroughly. So having the smaller one where they don't get posted as often actually makes it something that I feel like I'm actually going to read through and look into and pick some things out of. But my goal is to pick out some of them and actually write them into books like this comment of the day book right here, and bring them into the world and just toss them around it at different points where it might fit storylines in here. So again, if that's something you're interested in, be sure to check that out, and you might be able to add some cool stories to this world yourself. Like this little hunting camp here. Like, what's the story behind this place? They got a little workstation, they got some pups, they got a house, they're in the middle of the custom birch forest. There's so much potential, so much room for ideas and activities. But thank you all so very much for watching. Leave a like down below if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and my friends, I will catch you all on the flip side.